They were ready for war. Thousands of soldiers stood in formation, banners raised, weapons prepared, hearts pounding. The next battle could have changed the balance of power in medieval Europe forever. Kings were watching, commanders were confident, and then the sky opened. What happened next sounds almost ridiculous, but it may have saved tens of thousands of lives. In the autumn of 1415, during the 100 Years' War, two massive armies were moving toward each other in northern France. The English, led by King Henry V, were exhausted, sick, and low on supplies after weeks of marching. The French, confident in their numbers and strength, were preparing to crush them in open battle. Both sides expected blood, lots of it. But medieval warfare depended on something we rarely think about today: the ground beneath your feet. That night, heavy rain poured down without mercy. The fields between the armies turned into thick, sucking mud. By morning, what had been open farmland became a swamp-like nightmare. Horses sank into the soil. Heavy armor weighed soldiers down. Wagons carrying supplies couldn't move. The battlefield itself had become a weapon. The French army, built around heavily armored knights and cavalry, suddenly faced a problem. Their greatest strength, powerful charges, was now useless. A knight in full plate armor, slipping in knee-deep mud, was no longer a terrifying force of war. He was a slow, exhausted target. On the English side, commanders realized something just as dangerous. Their men were starving, ill, and outnumbered. Fighting on this terrain could turn retreat into massacre. Victory was no longer just unlikely, it was suicidal. So something rare happened in medieval warfare. They hesitated. Both armies stood there, staring across a field that looked calm from afar, but felt like quicksand underfoot. Scouts tested the ground and reported back. Soldiers tried to walk and nearly fell. Horses refused to move forward. Every step forward meant exhaustion before the fighting even began. Hours passed, then days. The great clash that was supposed to define the campaign simply didn't happen. Eventually, the French withdrew to better terrain. The English used the delay to escape the trap entirely and move towards safety. A battle that historians believe could have rivaled Agincourt in scale never happened at all. No heroic charges, no legendary last stands, just rain, mud, and a quiet decision to survive another day. What makes this moment so powerful is how invisible it is in most history books. We love stories of great generals and brilliant tactics. We remember battles because they are dramatic, but we forget the times when war almost happened and didn't. Weather has stopped armies before and since. Snow broke Napoleon's invasion of Russia. Storms scattered the Spanish Armada. But moments like this are even stranger because they show how fragile human plans really are. Thousands of trained soldiers, months of preparation, royal ambitions, undone by nothing more than rain falling at the wrong time. It's uncomfortable to realize how often history turns not on genius or bravery, but on accidents, on mud, on cold, on hunger, on storms no one could predict. If that rain had fallen one day later, the battlefield might have been dry. If it had fallen one day earlier, the ground might have hardened again. A single shift in weather could have rewritten political borders, royal dynasties, and the lives of tens of thousands of families. And that's the unsettling part. So many of the world's great turning points were actually one bad night of weather away from never happening at all. The next time you hear about a legendary battle, remember this. Somewhere in the same war, on some forgotten field, history almost exploded into violence, and then quietly changed its mind.